I'm Alex Williams, enterprise writer for Techcrunch here at the Strata conference with Bruno Aziza. Good to see you.
How you doing, Alex?
Yes.
Good to see you as well.
And you're with SiSense.
Correct.
And I was just looking at what you guys are doing. You have a record that you're talking about.
Yes.
Can you talk about that and what it means in the context of business? We hear about records all the time.
Yeah.
And they sometimes seem like almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, and so what makes yours different?
Yeah. So to be specific on the record, what we're doing is we're crunching 10 terabytes of data on a $10,000 machine under 10 seconds. So we call it the 10 by 10 by 10 record. Now the reason why we're doing this is because what we see in the space in big data is that there are lots of companies that have large amounts of data. Many of them are in terabyte stage. But they are dealing with complexity. So today, to work with that amount of data that fast, you have to either create set of clusters, deploy Hadoop, and so that's complicated. It's not expensive from a software standpoint, but it's expensive from a human capital standpoint. And most companies out there don't have the team. We know that data scientists, there's just not enough of them. And so what we're trying to show is that if you have 10 terabytes of data, which is the case of many companies out there, you shouldn't over-engineer. We can do this on one Dell server node, and you could deploy it in hours. And so that's the idea, is that of course you can distribute this if you wanted to, if you want to get into petabyte scenarios and so forth. But where we see the demand today in big data, it's in the terabyte range, and we shouldn't, what I call architect a rocket ship for a common problem like that. That's what we're communicating.
That's the sweet spot right now. It's the terabyte range. It's an
That's
interesting idea. Yeah.
And also, the other aspect of it is how do we remove the complexity? One of the things that I learned from another space, the business intelligence space, is often we engineer for the extreme scenario, where we engineer for the developer, we engineer for the person that has large budgets, where in fact the mass market, the market that's going to adopt it, is going to be the business person sitting in a department, and that's going to want to run their data. And today they can't do it. You look at our customer base, we're 400 customers or so, and they're everywhere. So they're large companies like the Target, and then there's smaller companies like the Wix and the Plastic Jungles, and these guys, they just don't have time, they don't have the money, they don't have the people to get it done. And what we're showing them today is that from the database all the way to the visualization on one node, you can crunch a lot of data.
How do you guys do it?
So there's a few things that is unique about our technology. The first thing is our in-memory technology. We use columnar algebra. Basically, we use a set of technologies around vectorization, vertical fragmentation that allows us to optimize the query. Our compiler runs in the CPU and it understands when to best run queries. So what resources does it use? Use RAM, does it use the disk, and so forth. So then we can optimize both storage and performance for you. Today, what's a shame in our space is most people putting in-memory tools in front of their large databases, but they act as bottleneck because in-memory inevitably will choke. You won't be able to use enough RAM in order to put all. So our technology just does away with that limitation. You can crunch a lot of data using our system because we are able to understand, optimize the query. Right. That's the idea.
Great. Well, Bruno, thank you very much for taking some time.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes,
thanks.